topic is when did immigrants come through Ellis Island? First, I want to introduce the time before the immigrants come through Ellis Island. In 1630, the colonial governors of New Amsterdam purchased a small mud bank in Upper New York Bay, and it is near the New Jersey shore. And the Indians called it Gull Island because there are many birds there originally. And the Dutch settlers called it Oyster Island after the many surrounding oyster beds. In 18th centuries, during the colonial period, the island was known as Dyer families and Bucking families. In 1760s, this island became known as Gibbet Island because there are some pirates were hung from one of the island's scrubby trees. Then, in 1776, by the time of the American Revolution, this island was owned by Samuel Ellis. Samuel Ellis is a merchant from New York, and he owns a small hotel on the island for fishermen. In 1808, Samuel Ellis heirs sold the island to New York State, but the name Ellis Island stuck. After a few months later in the same year, the federal government bought Ellis Island for $10,000. In 1834, because there is an agreement between state and state, Ellis Island and his neighboring island called Batelot Island were declared part of New York State, even though both of these two islands are on the New Jersey side of the Manship Channel. Ellis Island served as a military place until 1890. The nearby residents of Jersey City, Manhattan, and Brooklyn are worried about the explosion of this Ellis Island because there are some weapons set there for military use. In 1890, the New York State turned over the control of immigration to the federal government. So the U.S. Congress spent $75,000 to build the first federal immigration station on Ellis Island. While this new immigration station was under construction, the barge office on the Battery, a place on the tip of Manhattan, was used for immigration reception. And during this year, there are more than 80% of national total, about over 400,000 immigrants were processed at this barge office.
And in 1892, January 1st, this time was the first Ellis Island immigration station open. And, and the first person who passed the station is an Irish girl named Annie Moore. She is only 15 then, and she was from Aries. She is from Aries, and she go to United States because she want to find her parents in New York. And the first day, this January 1st, there are 3 ships wait on landing, and the first day there are 700 immigrants pass through the Ellis Island. And in that year alone, there are 450,000 immigrants pass through the land. And in 1897, June 5th, there was a fire, so the structure of Ellis Island was destroyed. And also the immigration record from 1855 are destroyed too. And among 1892 to 1897, there were 1.5 million people passed through this island. In 90 and in 1900, December 7th is the first open of the present main building on Iris Island, and it's a French-style construction, and it cost about $1.5 million, and it was designed to process 5,000 immigrants per day. And the island was kept enlarged by landfill or remodeling or addition, add some new building on it. And in 1997, this was a peak year in Iris Island. In this year alone, it have 1,004,756 immigrants, and in one day this year, April 17th, there were 11,747 immigrants processed. And in 98, it have a baggage and dormitory building complete. This building was used for some immigrants that are being detained. They can live there for few days.
In 1917, when the U.S. entered when the U.S. entered the war in Europe, Ellis Island was used to detain crews from German membership entering New York Harbor. Suspected enemy aliens throughout America were rounded up and brought to Ellis Island. And from 1918 to 1990, the U.S. Army and Navy took over most of Ellis Island for use as a way station and treatment of returning sick and wounded American servicemen. During the war, there is a sharp decline in the immigration at Ellis Island. And later in 1921, post-war immigration quickly revived, and many immigrants passed through the Ellis Island. However, the first immigration quota law passed the U.S. Congress, adding to the administration problems in Ellis Island. So the Immigration Act of 1924 further restricted immigration, changing the quota basis, and changing the quota basis, and this marked the end of mass immigration to America. And in 1930, funds from the Public Works Administration permitted the landfill addition of recreation grounds on the Manhattan side of main building. And Works Progressive Administration later added landscaping, new playgrounds and gardens on landfill. And as a result of these efforts, Ellis Island reached its present of 27.5 acres.
And from 1938 to 1945, after the U.S. entered the war in December 1941, Ellis Island served primarily as a detention center for alien enemies.
Okay, thank you. You can sit down now. Your time is up. Okay.